All right, give it a second. We're here.
Hi.
When we start. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, oh, that's cool. Does that? Oh, that was neat.
Yeah.
That was for y'all.
She does
So
that.
we are not Erin and Sarit. You are Erin and Sarit, our fabulous guests here. I'm Ashley Baptiste. This is Gus Calabrese. Welcome to the Couplepreneurs show. And we're so excited to share our stage today with a couple that we think are pretty flippin' awesome. And we get to learn a little bit more about them today, and you will too. So
we have Erin and Sarit.
Yay! Oops, I'm going to knock everything off of there. Oh, it's hard to do this when you're... Okay.
All right, until you introduce yourselves, tell us what you do.
Yeah, I'm Erin.
And I'm Sarit.
And we help driven folks who are inspired and empowered and want to go out into the world and make a difference, to feel better about themselves, their bodies, to look better, to have more energy, and so that they can take who they are and they can go and make an impact to other people with full confidence in simplicity through movement, nutrition, and lifestyle strategies.
And you guys are a couple and you own a business together.
Yes.
We own everything together.
Is that awesome?
We do too.
It really is. I don't know. There might be some people that disagree. I think we're very fortunate.
Yeah, we're so
we couldn't have done this with our previous spouses. We would have killed them, or they would have killed us.
I had a business with my previous spouse. It did not work.
Oh, okay. Mine tried. It was like, I can do this for you. And I was like, yeah, no, just go away. So we're good now.
Do you want to go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right.
You're so good at this.
All right. How did the two of you meet?
Oh my gosh, this is a long story. Actually, so we were just in Miami. We at the 10X GrowthCon, and we saw you guys there. And we met in Miami, but neither of us lived there. I lived in Portland, Oregon. She lived in Jersey. And we were at a CrossFit event, like a really big competition. And I was working as one of the vendors in the area, one of the sponsors of the event. And the coach and owner from her gym was competing in the elite category. And so the whole gym came down to watch, and our paths crossed at that event.
And
our eyes locked.
And yeah, so I'll get nosy. I mean, was it like you guys had an opportunity to meet up with each other at that event, or was it something where it was like, oh, we'll have to just keep in touch long distance? Like, how did that?
Yeah, I'll give you the juice.
Oh yeah, bring it.
Get your twisty straws out.
Okay.
As a vendor and a sponsor of these different CrossFit competitions and events, I would travel. I'd be in Ohio for a regional event, then I'd be in New York, then I'd be in California. And so at this one in Miami, and you see all the other vendors and you get to know each other, and there's always parties and after parties and second day party everywhere. And so one of the other sponsors of the event, they were having a party. And all of the coworkers that I was with, there was two of them that were considering going. And we're like, man, we are tired. We've been screaming. There's been a speaker on this side, a loudspeaker with music on both sides. We've been screaming. I barely have a voice. It's exhausting. So we Uber it. We Google, we're like, how far away is it? It's 5 minutes in this beautiful mansion in South Beach, Miami, on the water. And we're like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And it's only 5 minutes away. So we'll go. And if it's dumb, we'll just leave and come back. There's not a lot of time lost. So we get ready, and it's like a cocktail type dress party. So we get ready. I'm wearing wedges. I washed my hair, my once a month hair washing, and it was a whole ordeal. So we go, and we're just sitting on the couch. I have two other coworkers. One's a guy, one's a girl. And we're just sitting on this couch. We've got a drink. We're hanging out. There's a pool. There's a bunch of people around. And then these two girls walk in with sneakers, high socks, workout shorts, crop tank tops, and backpacks. Okay, cool. Then.
So wait. So I wanna share with the audience a good lesson here. you guys, like as entrepreneurs, you know that you're always on the lookout for opportunities. So I share this with you because my body got me in the room. I had no idea what this party was about. And you know that you become who you surround yourself with, right? It's like, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And this guy who was like way up there in the company that's through whatever party, he knew me in Jersey because of my abs. So that, like, you know, we had a pretty, we were good acquaintances, and he respected me and we both respected one another, but he saw something in me because of how I took care of myself. So it's like, by the way, you should totally come for this party. Like, I'm like, it's just like athletes. So I figured, like, normally CrossFitters, when they go to a party, they wear the same fucking shit.
I got it.
Really long day. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it's after the event. Like, what can I expect? Completely blew my mind. I had no idea. As soon as we go in there, and it was me and my best friend, and we're rolling in like an Uber, and we're like, there's a gate and a code
and a guard.
And then like red carpet, like, you know how they have
there's like a backdrop for like photos and stuff,
like just gorgeous people. As soon as I open the door, I'm like, we're out of place, and my eyes locked eyes with her, and I'm like, who is this person? You know, when you meet,
I don't think I saw you walk in.
You did not see me, but I saw you.
Did not lock eyes.
Oh, there we go.
Something.
My eyes saw her, and I was like, "Who is this person?" And like, how do I get to know her? So the whole night we figured out, how do I get her attention? So I got her attention, and I mean, it's worked.
We had an opportunity to actually spend time together, but eventually the event ends, so you figure out from there what happens. But we really have been pretty. I mean, there's a lot of twists and turns in the story too, and we could be here literally for hours. However, we ended up going back to our homes, but we stayed in touch, and we've been basically
it's like I knew that I met my person, and I was like, I did it. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know what to expect because the situation was complex too. But we figured it out, and here we are.
Yay.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That's awesome.
That's a fabulous story.
Yeah. All right. So,
Jeez.
Next step. How did you get in business together? How'd that come about?
Yeah,
it was an evolution.
It was an evolution. So I started as a personal trainer in 2009. So I've been in this industry for a really long time. When I met Sarit, she actually was in the process of becoming an American citizen. So she didn't have really like a way to work. But shortly after we met, she actually got her green card, and she was able to start working. And she had this dream where she's like, I'm going to work at the best gym she like commuted from, I'm just telling you a story. She commuted from Jersey to New York, basically not making any money because the education at that gym, their system was the most advanced and well thought out and respected education process for personal trainers. And so she would commute back and forth. She started her business. She created a full business. And then when it came time to like a decision-making time, we're like, what are we doing? And she was there for a few months, I would say. Mm-hmm. We had that conversation where I had been a trainer for a long time. I saw in her something that is very, very rare in a rookie trainer, a very novice trainer. She didn't seem like she was a new trainer. And I was like, let me tell you this, all of my years in the industry, this was in 2016. So I'd been a trainer already for 8 years. And I was like, listen, gyms are always looking for trainers because they don't have to pay you if you're not busy. So if you come in knowing what you know with the personality that you have, they'll hire you in a heartbeat. You could apply to 3 gyms and all of them will give you an offer. So she did. She got a job in San Diego after we moved. So I moved from Oregon. She moved from Jersey. And I actually got out of personal training because I was working in the CrossFit industry. And so I was working for a supplement company and I was their West Coast regional sales manager. And so I was like, man, I really want to get back into training. I miss training. She kept getting emails from Equinox, which is the gym that she worked at, saying that they were hiring. So I was like, shoot, whatever, I'll put in. And long story short, I ended up getting a job there. They asked me, like, they found out what she did. They're like, how come she's not here too? We want another badass trainer. If she's like you, we want her here too. And I was like, well, when she tried to transfer, you guys said there wasn't a position, which I knew was bullshit because there's always positions at
Right.
gym. So she ended up coming to the gym that I was at, and we both worked there together for a year and a half. So a year and a half,
a little more
2
than
years?
2 years.
Okay, maybe 2 years. Time flies. And so in that process, both of us were like, we'd wake up at 4 a.m., be at the gym at 4:30. Actually, sometimes I'd be there at 4 a.m. She'd sometimes be there until like 7 or 8 p.m. And it's like, we had no life outside of being at the gym. And then you try to work out, but everybody knows you. So everybody wants to talk to you. So it's hard to be productive in your own workout. So we're just like, how, and the fact that we're limited by how many people we can help. We are only 1 and 2 people. We can only help so many people when we're with one person for an hour at a time.
Yes.
And we can only help them so much if we see them at a maximum 3 times a week. And then they go do whatever else they go do and screw it up. So we're like, how can we help them more effectively? And how can we help more of them? And so that was virtually. So I'm telling this whole story.
Yeah. So really,
welcome to the Erin Show.
So what it is we saw a problem and we wanted to serve a bigger need. And we also were very fortunate because a lot of our clients were extremely successful entrepreneurs. And we were like, how do they, like, what is their secret? Like
how can you come work out at noon?
They carried themselves differently. Their life was different. They spoke different. And so, like we'd learn from them and, we would tell them about like some of the problems that we saw and how we could like fill in the gap. And they actually saw our vision and they're like you gotta like follow your heart. So we knew nothing about business whatsoever. And it's like one thing led to another. And we went by literally taking our like 2006 Ford Focus. We lived in San Diego
with the mirrors duct taped on.
Yeah, with pamphlets, and we'd like knock on gyms, and we're like, "Do you want us to do a nutrition seminar?
Can we come do a nutrition seminar for free?"
So
we have like 5 people.
We literally started like at a snail's pace, but just big dream and just ferocious goals, and one thing led to another, and here we are today, like almost.
6 years later
into business. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love the story. And I love the fact that you guys work in concert together and that you really see like what is a value for, that each other brings to the table. Because I think sometimes, especially when we see couples in business together, sometimes it gets like, well, he does that and I do this, or but he's not good at this, or, it's like, there's almost I'm better at you than this. I mean, Gus and I definitely have relatively defined roles in terms of what we do. But we're not knocking each other down at what we're bad at. It's always like, he's really good at marketing and I'm better at like production. So, or something like that. So I love the way that you guys talk about it, because there's a real, you both lift each other up as you're talking about it.
There's also the reoccurring theme on every entrepreneur. It's never an overnight success.
Yeah.
It's never instant. It's never.
It always starts with 5 people.
Yeah, it always starts with
at the seminar or the it's like you have to start somewhere, and it's never going to be the massive crowd that you think you're going to be in front of, but it's little by little and never stopping, never quitting, never giving up.
All right.
So I'll ask
You wanna bring
well,
it-
go ahead. You had a question in mind. All right. Well, how do you divide and conquer business responsibilities within your relationship?
Are you talking about like business versus, I mean, everything is life. So it's business. I don't know how you can separate business.
Whichever.
Just all business.
Yeah.
Who pays the bills? Who does?
Yeah, like who
who mostly brings the new customers in? Who's
yeah,
the?
like what are you guys? What are your roles?
Yeah. So, do you want me to answer that?
Well, this was actually a really big learning experience for us because we both tried to do everything in the beginning. We didn't know any better. So we're both trying to do sales. We're both trying to do coaching. We're both trying to do all the stuff. And like once we realized that I do have a natural gift in certain areas and she does have a natural gift in certain areas, it's actually smarter for us to just be like, you do that, you make the decision there. If you're wrong, then you're fully wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm fully wrong. And we both are okay with that. And we are both responsible for that. And it's no problem. But it's like, if everybody's trying to do all of the same stuff, you're absolutely going to step on each other's toes. So
Totally. Couldn't agree more.
100%. Yeah, we're in the same.
We've experimented with that as well, and definitely came out with it's better if you do this.
It's interesting. I'm probably
I'll do that.
I have a lot more experience in sales than Ashley does, and I'm probably better at it in the long haul. But because there's so many other responsibilities within our company, I can't get too involved with sales because Ashley can't do some of the stuff that I do, technical wise. I mean,
so I hop on the phone and I get better.
I know, as Sarit and I were talking about, you guys are putting in a new marketing system. Ashley knows like nothing about our marketing. You know all about marketing, but you don't know about the system. I mean, all the coding and all that stuff. And
don't want to. Well, and that's it too. It's like if I take the time, if I invest the time to learn everything about it that Gus knows, nobody's on the phone. You know what I mean? Like I need somebody needs to do these other things.
We had a mini crisis today as we were doing a live event. We do a mentor call for our change management professionals. The link goes out, and we were delinquent in our duties. We sent the link out at 5 minutes before the event happened, and the link was bad.
And then we clicked the link and realized it wasn't. I'm like, it's not working for me. And then I'm like, oh.
I had to go back in the system and rebuild everything.
Yeah.
And why our speakers were like a little agitated anyway.
I thought he handled it with grace, but and then we had to let everybody else know because it's sort of a closed off call too. Like people have to pay to get into this conversation. So I was, we were messaging like crazy and
typical stuff you don't think you'll still be doing this many years in business.
And then we're like, okay, do we need to change the procedure on this moving forward? Of course. But yeah, it was kind of a nutty
All right, what do you want to
Yeah, Gus has this awesome list of questions, and I'm going to ask this. How do you celebrate wins and milestones together as a couple and as a business?
That's good. I would be honest, and I would say that like this is probably an area of opportunity of ours, and maybe like especially for me too, because we do write down every single day what are our wins. But if I'm like being really honest with myself, like being in celebration mode, like very rarely does it happen and at least for me, because for me, it's like, and this is where I get to have an opportunity for growth. It's like, if it's not a PR or, like a personal record or like it doesn't seem to be good enough. So a lot of times it's like, oh, okay, got it. So it's like, let's keep moving forward. So just being honest, I do not believe that we celebrate as often as maybe we could. And that's probably my fault.
Yeah, I think there's two sides to every coin. So there's what's really great about being hard on yourself is that no wildly successful person is not hard on themselves. That is how you get there. So that's a good trait. And at the same time, I think wisdom and growth in this journey is about how do I marry being hard on myself with also having grace. How do I, because nobody's perfect and we all make mistakes and we all wish that we could do better in something or there's so many pieces of life that it's like, oh, I wish I was a better mom, or I wish I made more money, or I wish I was in better health, or I had a six pack like Sarit, or like, I wish I was better somewhere. And it's so easy to say what our shortcomings are versus where we're doing well. And if we really look back at it, we built the business from 0 to 7 figures in 3 years. If you would have asked me at the very beginning, actually, one of our goals in the beginning was like, man, if we could just make $20,000 a month, that would be like, oh my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And so if you do the math on $1 million divided by 12, it's a little bit more than $20,000 a month. And so if you look at something like that, and then, our natural tendency then is to go, being hard on yourself is to say, yeah, but we weren't that profitable. Or, there's always something, or like once you reach $1 million, you realize you haven't done shit because now there's just you've just raised the bar, so it's kind of like, it's really, I think wisdom and growth is the marriage between, and knowing how to create harmony between being hard on yourself and having grace with yourself and recognizing what you are great at, what you have done, and not diminishing it because you want to be better, but acknowledging and saying, this is the next level.
Totally get it. I mean, I think we're so busy going after big goals. But I think we've gotten better. I'm usually, I'll throw it out, woohoo, or I'll get up and boogie around, for a second, and then I'll just like, okay, what's next?
Well, we do just a little, we'll go out to dinner or something like that, or something to celebrate. But it's always like, okay, that's it. Especially in our business, we're like, we do these events, and once the event's over, we're at 0.
Yeah,
and we got to start over.
What? So
and it's a constant restarting of the business.
Right. There isn't a recurring stream yet, and so sometimes you feel like, okay, I'm only as good as my last conference, or we're only as good as our last event. But we do try to at least put a bow on it at the end of the conference, get a little time to get some R&R and maybe a woohoo, we did it. Okay, what's next?
We took a day off. We took a day off during GrowthCon.
That was so weird. It was
the Sunday before GrowthCon. We didn't open up our computers, which was like
we didn't. We just like threw on our swimsuits and went outside and spent the whole day outside.
I'll be honest, I was bored after about an hour.
I was too, but forced myself to stay outside.
Yes.
And get a little sunshine. So, what do you think are some of the unique advantages of being a couplepreneur team?
Oh my gosh.
The one that sticks out to me the most is growing together. Yeah. So the reason why divorce rates are high is, number one, probably because of commitment, but it's really because what started the relationship didn't keep the relationship, right? So whether we like it or not, we are all evolving every single day. And the question is, what are you evolving towards? So, when you are a couplepreneur, however you call it,
couplepreneur.
And
I couldn't say correctly the first 3 series, so it's good.
and you're going through the trenches together, you're growing together. You know what I mean? Versus, maybe one spouse is, working in one place, as another spouse is working in another place. Like the problems that we face on a day-to-day basis determines what we focus on and what we pay attention to, right? So I'm not saying that in order for you to have a solid relationship, you got to be in business together. That's definitely not the case. And at the same time, like if you look at it, like incredibly like happy couples, a lot of times you do see that they're actually in business together. So I'm not
Grant
saying
and Elena, Sarah Blakely and Jesse Itzler. What's the guy that was on Shark Tank? Damon
John and Heather.
Yeah.
Well, I think ultimately what it comes down to, it's designing a life where both parties are actively working towards something similar. And when you're in a business unit together, like by default, you're working towards something similar, right? Like in a lot of couples, like the thing that is similar is got the same kids. And, if the marriage falls apart, it's because one person is focusing on this, the other person is focusing on that. And then there is like, friction and resistance. And, if like the leadership is compromised and there's victim mentality, then that could turn into chaos. But I ultimately think it's because we're growing in the same direction together.
I want to add to that because statistically they say that most divorces come from money issues. But I don't believe it's from money issues because you wouldn't have money issues if you had the ability to communicate with one another, and you wouldn't have a hard time communicating with one another if A, you were confident in who you were and okay being authentic with yourself, and then B, if you knew each other. Because a lot of times if I'm working over here and they're working over there, and then we see each other for a few minutes at night and then we go to bed and we start the process over again, especially if you throw kids in the mix, then it's like, well, we don't even know each other anymore. And so how can I communicate with somebody that I don't know? And how can I communicate money things with somebody that I don't know? And if I don't have confidence or knowledge or know what I'm bringing here to the table, like how can we resolve that issue? And so I think that growing together, having the, growing in your communication, growing in your humility, it takes a lot of humility. It takes saying I was wrong. It takes saying you're better at this. It takes a lot of that. And then the other advantage, as far as business goes, is divide and conquer. Like two can get twice the amount of work done than one. So, there's a lot of power in working in unison in that too.
It's interesting. It's so true. Like if you're on the same page,
yeah,
and you're going for the same goal and you want the same things out of life now, and then move forward, probably 3 years from now, things are going to be different, but you still want the same things. Again, you're going to reevaluate your goals and want to be there. But even something as simple as we have a process. Ashley's son takes out the trash. Certain things get done in the house. Yeah, Ashley, I cook. Ashley cleans. When we're traveling, I cleans the dishes. Actually, when we're getting ready,
a good life.
But we're getting ready to rock and roll off to an event, and we're leaving at 5 a.m. in the morning, and Ashley's taking a little longer to pack because she's more last minute than I am. And the sink's got dishes in it. I'll go downstairs at 5 in the morning, blow out the dishes, and get them all done for them there.
Thank you.
Because it makes both of our lives better.
Yeah.
It gets us closer to our goal. We step in. And instead of the emotional issues like, hey, you didn't do the dishes and you left them a mess, and we can't leave until you do that.
Right. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. It's about we have a goal to get this happening. Okay, you're taking a little longer to do this. I'll jump in and help. And it's not like I have to stand here and say, oh, I stepped in and helped. It's more like, look, we have the same goal. Let's not make a big deal out of it. Just like everybody chip in and we get where we need to be. Everybody contributes. So.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
I know there was something here. I'm going to ask you.
There's another question Gus wants to ask.
Yeah.
If you may. Thank you, ladies, by the way.
All right. Here's a tough question.
Ooh. Okay.
Who's funnier? Who's funnier?
That's awesome.
That wasn't the question, but that's okay.
Now, so is there something about the other one that annoys you a little bit? Either one.
Don't bring that up.
And then how do you because we have our things, and it's not a big deal.
What?
This is a good question. It's a good question because here's the deal.
Think about it.
I know what mine is because here's the deal. Everybody's different. So she's going to do things differently than I do them, because I'm always right and she doesn't do it the right way. Then I get annoyed. I'm just kidding. But so like this is actually, this is
so well too. She just makes smile on her face. Oh yeah.
This is something that she's actually gotten like really good at. It used to really bother me. And I've expressed it to her too. Like I'm like, hey, it makes me extremely uncomfortable. Her time integrity was she was a very last minute, or she would actually just miss understand or misinterpret the amount of time it would take her to do something. And so she's like, oh, I have 30 whole minutes. Right. I was gathering that. She'd be like, oh, I have 30 minutes, only going to take 30 minutes. But like, I'm like, yeah, but you got to add a buffer time because something might happen here. You got to add a buffer time because something might happen here. And I'm like putting buffers in. So like, I used to be always on time, like, oh, and then when we started dating, and if it's a party and it's like, oh, people are showing up at 5, then it's like, okay, cool, whatever. Like, take your time, whatever. But if somebody's waiting on me, or if I told somebody that I respect, I'm going to be somewhere at a certain time. To me, time is one of those things that say, if I'm going to be there for you, I'm showing you respect by following my word and not wasting any of your time, even minutes, which maybe some people might think is ridiculous. I'll tell you, even 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I count them all. And so that was one thing that was a challenge
I
for
love
me.
that.
But it's great because it's like, it's made us both better. It's made me better at learning how to communicate with her so she doesn't feel the pressure. And it's made her be like, honor something that's very important to me.
Mhm.
So it's great. I mean, I'm sure I do things that annoy you.
We're still in the buffer zone all the time.
Too.
I used to cut avocado with this one knife, and I was always just leave it on the counter. So
Yeah.
she'd make a big thing of that.
Because I'm like, you can wash that. And she wouldn't. And then I would. So like even in our community, there was
Now
like
I watch
a
the
joke
avocado
about
knife.
the avocado knife.
All the time.
Like,
Somebody
it was
made a meme about it, actually, there was like a meme with a not a machete, and then somebody made a meme that was like the new avocado knife.
Awesome.
Is good. But yeah,
So,
not
okay.
really.
Oh, I'll tell you what. You know what it is?
I know what.
So I have a thing, and I'm working on identifying what's really causing the trigger.
Okay.
So when like after work, like during the night, sometimes Erin would just go on TikTok.
Oh yeah,
And
she didn't like it.
I highly dislike it.
Do you dislike TikTok or do you dislike what she's doing on TikTok?
Well, I'll tell you about social media. I'm not a big fan of social media. Like if it was to go away tomorrow, I'll probably say hallelujah, because
Hold on though. If I were on Facebook, would it have the same feeling for you?
no.
Social media. So it's not social media.
True.
We're working this out right now.
Yeah, it's the consumer mindset.
Is it because you feel like I'm feeding mush to my brain?
Uh-huh.
So this is perspective. Because if she were watching TikTok, for her, it would be mush. I intentionally use it for humor because humor is a like, it's so good. Zoom, like the thing agrees.
Yeah.
Because for me, humor is healing. So like I spend my whole day pouring out into other people and doing what we do to serve the people that we serve. I want some humor. Like I want some comic relief. Like I just want to be in my own little world for a minute. And I know that it is how it's productive for me is allowing my mind to shut off and get away from everything that I've done. Because if I keep my head in that world, then I don't get creative and it becomes a grind and it becomes a have to. And so for me, like the comic relief is like, if I can be there for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, like it's just, it's like, that's my intention. And so, but for you, it would, you probably feel like it's a waste of time. So you think I'm wasting time.
Yeah.
Get it? I get it. What annoys me about it? What annoys you about me?
I have to think about that for a second.
I'll tell you one thing annoys me.
Okay.
He knows, he's ready.
I hear this already. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I gotta think.
Ashley actively listens. She listens when it concerns her right now. Hey Ash, I'll be working on something. Hey Ash, I just built 4 SOPs for those who don't know standard operating procedures to do this, and this. We get through. They're in this file. Look at this. Great.
Huh?
Like 3 weeks later, Ashley will be like, how the hell do I do this? What are you supposed to do on this? And I'm like, I built a whole procedure. I spent like 2.5 hours and I realized something was wrong with it. I spent another 2.5 hours and I put it all together so anybody can do it. It's in such and such a folder.
How do I get that?
Yeah, how do I get that? Right
I'm a repetition person, so I need to hear this like 5 times.
As we're scaling the company, we have all these procedures in place that I work diligently on. And then the boss, the founder of the company.
So I thought of something.
What's that?
So when for a while
We've had that same experience, by the
way. When we're packing in the morning for a ridiculously stupid early morning flight, like the sun is nowhere near up even when the plane takes off.
Why are you packing in the morning?
Well, okay. I prefer to do it in the morning. Gus prefers to do it at night. And I'm like, do whatever works for you. I'm going to do what works for me. So the time that Gus tried packing in the morning, he spent 4 days of the conference in his jeans because he forgot to pack his nice pants. And then kind of blamed me. And I'm just like, I didn't pack you. This is my thing. But sometimes in the morning, he'll while I'm packing, and I have a very I don't think I realized it at the time, but I have a very specific, like, this is how I pack. I pack in mosaic. I don't do like one thing at a time. I'm like all over.
I understand. We travel like 160 days a year.
We travel a lot. You'd think I'd be
travel
really
a lot.
I've been doing this for 25 years and I still pack like this, but it's the way I pack. And he'll start asking me like, do you have this? Did you remember this? Did you remember this? And it completely throws me off every time. And then I'll forget other stuff. And I'm like, but not the ones that he reminded me about, but I'll be like, oh my God, I got off my game. So recently I had to say, okay, you know what? Just, if you would, don't talk to me. Like, let me do my thing. I'll get it together. And then, talk to me when we get to the airport or when we're in the car or something like that.
Then comes that we're still in the buffer zone. We're leaving at 6:15 because if I tell her we're leaving at 6:20, we'll be out the door at 6:23. And this one likes to hit the wall when we go to the airport. So just walk in right at the time.
I'm like, aren't we just walking right out of the plane? And he likes to be there for a good, a good hour.
Hasn't happened. We've missed 2 flights. We got in an accident one day on the way to the airport. Like,
we still made it on.
This is why you need buffers. This is why.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the buffer. So I have come to appreciate and respect the buffers. And I think Gus has also reached a point where he knows, like, he's going to pack his stuff. I'm going to pack my stuff, and we don't need to talk about
it. That's good. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Great.
So, all right, let's get a
one last.
I got a couple last questions.
Okay.
First, I'll say.
Let's go one more. Let's go one more question. We got
one more. This is one man.
All right.
Oh, that's.
I had a good one. I had a good one here. The final question here. I
thought this was a good one. He's got a whole bunch. I think that's always.
No.
Oh, all right, fine. Whatever you want.
No. What exciting projects are you working on right now for the future?
Say that again.
What exciting projects are you working on right now for the future?
It's the project of the future.
The project of the future.
Actually, it is really exciting and complex, which is what makes it exciting. That's a word you could use for it. What's really exciting is the number of people that we'll be able to impact while still maintaining our business. An experience that we had a while ago was, we did well revenue wise. Brandon Dawson says revenue is vanity and profit sanity. And the way we built our model was not profitable. So it was like $1 million headache. And so what we're working on is a project that will be able to help a lot of people. It's very scalable, which is an app, and it's called the $1 Million Body Society. And somebody will be able to, we're very, very big on having physical freedom and mental confidence and, becoming a person that lives in a body that makes you feel great about yourself so that you have the energy, the confidence, the self-belief to go and do whatever it is in the world that you want to do, to live life with full experience. And a lot of people struggle or fall short they get in this trap of yo-yo dieting or, extreme to nothing, all or nothing. And something that we've done over the last 6 years that has just been consistently successful for people and their results is just being better than, like, taking one step at a time. And so in the app, somebody will be able to take a full quiz on the 5 pillars that we have: is movement, nutrition, regeneration, mindset and mental toughness, and discipline. Because most people go movement, nutrition, but that's not even 50% of what you need to really have sustainable, lasting results that you're excited about. And so what will happen is they'll be able to take this quiz and they'll get a score in all 5 of those pillars. And then based on their score of each of those pillars, they're going to get to choose one target per each pillar. That all they do is when they open their app is they have a checklist. We love checklists. And throughout the day, they're just checking off and submitting. I completed this, I completed this, I completed this. And they'll be able to see within a 30-day time period, like if they complete that target with 80% or better within a 30-day time frame, then they graduate that task and they get to pick a new one. So and they keep progressing. So they get more challenging as you create more habits. And so it's super cool. It's been a very amazing collaborative effort between Sarit and I and our developer. Everything is custom coded. Don't talk to me about that. I have no clue. We have the vision, we have the understanding of the how it's going to work. And we've got a community piece too, so that people can connect with one another. They can network, they can support each other. I think, all people are wanting connection. And so when you have that piece too, it just adds so much more value. It's like you can see where other people are at, and there's going to be a leaderboard. So
that's great.
So that, for me, that's what is very exciting, if you can't tell.
Yeah. So, just to take all these pieces and to make a puzzle out of it that works is obviously, it's what an entrepreneur's life is all about, right?
Always.
Solving problems.
So how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about your products and services?
Yeah, actually, are you guys able to drop link? We actually have an event tomorrow that people can come to. If they're watching this, they can come for free. Mm-hmm. If you guys want to if we can drop a link in here somewhere.
Absolutely. If at the very least,
we can send it to you.
Yeah, send it to us and we'll pop it in.
Okay.
Cool. All right, we're gonna say goodbye. Erin, Sarit, hold on for a minute. Let me say goodbye.
We're gonna end.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you, Erin, Sarit, so much. This was awesome and fun.
So great to be on. Thanks.